they're the best climate activists I know, the Pacific Climate Warriors. Their slogan is, "We're not drowning, we're fighting." And a couple of summers ago, what they did was each island built a traditional canoe, and then they took them to Newcastle in Australia, which is the biggest coal port in the world, and they used them for a day to blockade the port to keep some of the biggest ships in the world in the harbor. And I show you these pictures, this picture, because I am, as I said, a writer at heart, and so I'm aware, almost subconsciously, of the kind of tropes that human beings respond to. There's only a limited catalog of them, and one of them definitely is this idea of the fight between the big and few and the small and many, okay? That is the Death Star and the Rebel Alliance, okay, in that picture. That's all those kind of, and sort of understanding that we have to be the small. You begin to see this everywhere. These are shots, and there may be people in this room who were part of this amazing action that same summer down in Seattle. That 40-story monolith there is the drill rig that Shell wanted to send up into the Arctic to start drilling in the Arctic. Think about that for a minute. Scientists had said if we keep burning fossil fuel, eventually the Arctic will melt. When the Arctic did indeed melt, Shell Oil didn't look at that and say, maybe we should go into a different business like solar panels. Shell Oil looked at that and said, now it'll be easier to drill for oil in the Arctic. That's a pretty deep indictment of human, of our species in a way, but happily, there were lots of people who decided to stand in the way. They came in their small craft. We called them, of course, kayaktivists. And for weeks, they blockaded in Portland and Seattle, and eventually, Shell decided that it could not deal with the brand damage. They, at the end of that summer, pulled out of drilling in the Arctic, took their $9 billion that they'd invested and called it a loss. We don't win every fight, but we win a lot of fights, and the point is there is a fight now, and we really badly need everyone in that fight, and we need everyone in that fight as far in as they can get. I'm not telling you all, for instance, that you need to do like Elizabeth and go get arrested. Although you could. I've done it a number of times now, and it's not the end of the world. It's not much fun, but it's not the end. The end of the world is the end of the world, and that's why we do what we do. But I am telling you that you need to figure out things that take you outside your comfort zone. Because the things that we've done so far have been insufficient to get the job done, and because the planet is way, way, way outside its comfort zone, and getting more so with every passing hour, okay? Cannot guarantee that we're going to win this fight, because it's the first timed test that humans have ever come up against. If we don't win the fight soon, then we don't win it at all. Proposing answers that take a long time to deal with it is not proposing answers at all. Winning slowly on climate change is just another way of losing on climate change. So I don't know how it's going to come out, but I do know that it's going to be true on a big fight, and we need all of you in it, and I thank you so much for what you've already done, and I thank you even more for what you're going to do going forward. Thank you all.